I missed this.
I missed this. It has been a hot minute.
The only YouTube watchers or the only podcast listeners might be very confused right now, but if you're in the Discord or you watch the Twitter, we took some time off, and this is our first recording back. That is technically a makeup one that we already watched, so this will be fun. But I missed your beautiful faces.
I missed your beautiful everythings. That's right.
The finger guns have already started.
Hell yeah!
The finger guns that we... Why are we the way we are?
Why is Ben like
just
hipster Steve Austin right now? What's going on?
Ben just shotgunned a ginger beer and then coughed, and it was one of the most
seriously
rewarding moments of my life.
Hipster Steve Austin. He just went, hell yeah, and then shoved this ginger beer.
Raise hell. Drink ginger beer. Oh, hell yeah. I'm the one person on the planet that can't do a Steve Austin. Hello and welcome to Star Wars Every Week Forever, the podcast in which we watch one Star Wars movie every week forever. This week, technically, Rise of Skywalker.
Gross.
I want to ask how the watches were, but more importantly to me, how was the break? Ben, how was the break?
The break was...
So let me explain what happened with the break.
Yeah.
We were falling behind very badly, like, 2 weeks before Christmas. We recorded the holiday special, and we had to do a makeup, and we decided the week of Christmas that it was like, we need to go back to the original idea, which is to take a break during Hanukkah and Christmas.
Like the holiday
and
season.
New Year's. So from now on... We gave ourselves a little bit of time this time, but from now on, there will be 3 weeks in December we are not recording. Or 2 weeks in December and 1 week in January. It'll work out differently, I imagine, every year. But that's how this is going to work now. So it'll be Star Wars 49 weeks forever. We're keeping the name. This is just how it's going to be.
The vacation was simultaneously relaxing and depressing. Because I didn't have Star Wars to watch, so like that was a plus. But I couldn't bitch about Star Wars every week. And I missed that more than I thought I would.
Chris, how was your time off?
I stood in my kitchen about 20 minutes ago talking to my wife. And I was like, yeah, I haven't been this excited for recording in a long time. And she gave me a funny look, and I was like, because it's our first one back, and she gave me an even stranger look, and I was like, have you just not noticed that I haven't recorded in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, however the hell long it's been at this point? And she was like, oh,
3 weeks.
She was like, oh, no. I was like, all right.
Let's put it this way: my timestamp. Oh, I'm about to reveal too much. So, raise your hand if you watched Rise of Skywalker this week.
Jay, no!
I watched it the week we were supposed to watch it.
So did I!
And
same.
But since this is a makeup week, I decided not to rewatch it.
I watched
because I watched it on the allotted week. On the allotted week that we agreed upon. We decided we weren't going to record this late.
Well, I didn't know we were getting into, specific fucking contract, fine print and shit here. God damn it. Alright, that's how it is. You'll be hearing from my lawyer next December, alright?
No. She makes a valid point.
She makes a valid point.
That valid point also crossed my mind, but...
So, the timestamp on my last edit for the 14th podcast watch on my Rise of Skywalker thing is December 14th, 2022. And I made a ton of notes that day. And it got to this week, and we were back, and yesterday I was going to watch it, and I'm like, no. I watched it the week that we were supposed to watch it, because this wasn't the episode that we were going to return to. This is literally a makeup episode for an episode that we had to cancel recording. So I decided... I watched it the week that I was supposed to watch it. I did not rewatch it. And I did not break the forever contract, and I will debate that till next time.
I will say I am upsetty spaghetti, but I understand and respect your decision, but it's rude.
Can I posit a creative way for us to torture ourselves?
Sure.
Penance for taking
I
time
mean,
off?
this whole podcast is a creative way to torture ourselves.
But no, like for our penance for taking time off. What if next year, we take 3 weeks off or whatever it ends up being, but whatever movie we leave off on, we record the final episode we're going to put out, and that puts us at, say we finish Rise of Skywalker, and then that's when we take, final recording. We're coming back and watching Phantom Menace for the first recording back. What if for those weeks that we're off, we don't have to record, no one has to edit, but we watch that movie that's next up every single week until we come back? We have to watch that movie once a week for the couple weeks that we're off.
So, one part of my brain is like, that's really creative and interesting. That we would have to watch the same movie a few weeks in a row because we decided we weren't recording. And I think that would make terrific content. The other half of my brain that thinks we should get some kind of a break in the most stressful time of the year is saying, you bastard, why would you do this?
Yeah, that's what I thought the second part was going to be. It's just like, but the second part of my brain is just saying, fuck you, Chris. You piece of shit.
It is saying, fuck you,
Chris.
I don't... Listen.
In the midst of the chaos that is my family's, the only solace I took was I wasn't gonna have to watch Star Wars.
Well, I don't know how the mouth breaks down, but like that could really fuck us if it's like Attack of the Clones or Rise of Skywalker, for example.
I got a counter idea, because this is a good idea, even if I think you're a son of a bitch.
I feel like we owe some sort of penance, right?
I don't know no one's shit.
I'll explain how my couple weeks went, and then, because it actually pertains to that. So the first week wasn't really a week. We decided this on a Thursday. So I had already watched fucking Star Wars. I had already started Phantom Menace. Let's put it that way. And yes, next week I will restart Phantom Menace because it's a new week.
I mean, you could just pick up from where you left
off. No, because that wasn't a rescheduling. Anyway, here's how my weeks went. The first week I was fine. The second week, or when we got to the Wednesday when I was supposed to put out an episode, I felt guilty out of nowhere for some reason. Because I felt lazy, like I was not doing something I should be, and I felt awful about it, like I had somehow failed. So that whole week was just like, I did something wrong, and I can't escape it, even though I know that this is something we agreed upon and everybody was cool with. The second week, I missed y'all. Just so much. This week, I started to... Not this, but next week when I have to actually watch the movie, I started to feel this overwhelming fear. Like this fear of having to jump back in. Which is what brought me to not watching the movie this week, because I already fucking watched it on the agreed upon time. But that's how my time off went. And I say that to bring back up, this podcast is a guilt factor podcast where we have made an agreement and we cannot escape from it.
We promised the internet.
We promised the internet.
See, I don't know. I more think of this podcast as me paying forward some of the time I'm gonna spend in hell. Like, I'm doing some of my time now, so I won't have to worry about it later.
Ben, you have been very vocal about not believing in hell.
Here's
It's insurance, all right? Look, it's insurance.
Look, here's the thing, and I'm gonna get potentially sappy for a moment, so forgive me. My 2-3 week, whatever the fuck it was, I have no concept of time anymore. Much like my infant child, I have no concept of time.
It was 2 weeks, technically, because we recorded the
Also,
Christmas
hey,
special.
hey, by the way, fuck both of you, alright? I know I just said I was about to get sappy, but
I'm about to get
My
sappy,
two-
but first, fuck you guys.
I'm like, what do you say fuck me for?
What the fuck did I do?
2 of my weeks. No, I'm saying I don't want to hear. 2 of my weeks off from this fucking show, I had COVID for 2 of my weeks off of this fucking
Okay,
podcast.
Chris,
Okay, yeah,
Chris,
you make a good
look at
point.
it this
You
way.
make a good
You
point.
could be mad that 2 of your weeks off you had COVID. Or you could be happy that 2 of the weeks that you had COVID, you didn't have to watch Star Wars.
I didn't get paid
Also-
shit for it. I got 5 days off. This podcast gives
To
me
be
more
fair-
time off than my job.
To be fair, you... To be fair, you having COVID is part of the reason why we made the
Yes.
decision. It
Yeah,
just
I was
fast-forwarded a decision that probably would have
dying.
happened
I
a
know-
year or two down the
I
line.
know it's an old meme and it's not me making an original joke, but as a parent, I can now say it's very true. I was very good at avoiding getting COVID until I lived with somebody who just sneezes into my
Yeah.
open eyeball. So, but no, to get sappy and to not verbally abuse my 2 of my best friends in the whole wide world. No, like my time off of this podcast, like my life is so stressful right now. This podcast, I realized in the time off, does not negatively impact my life or cause any stress on me in any meaningful way. And I would never describe hell as something that allows me to sit down once a week with 2 of my favorite people and just bullshit. So, yes, watching these movies sucks, but I missed you two and this stupid podcast very much.
That's very sweet, and I actually agree with you for the most part. And that feels good. Actually,
Yeah, now I feel like a dick.
it's also definitely the sappiest thing that I've ever heard you say in the 10 years that I've known you. Unless you were drunk at 3 o'clock in the morning, then I think you
that's true.
might have said sappier
Yeah, that's
shit.
true.
But it's mostly just I love you guys.
Yeah.
I agree. I didn't miss watching the movies. I felt guilty about not editing, which is just a continual thing with me if I miss something. I missed the fuck out of you two.
Yeah.
So much. Because the podcast is a hell that we have created. But it is also secretly time for the 3 of us who... Peek behind the scenes, I don't know if we've ever talked about this. Ben tangentially knew Chris before this podcast. They got to know each other through doing the podcast.
It's true.
I've known Chris for like 10 years. Our relationship has been very strong like the last 5-6 years. I met Ben in like 2016.
It was like a chance happening at a volunteer theater.
At a volunteer theater, I saw that he had a D&D book, and everything went from there. I'm very happy that the 2 of you became closer friends through this, and I'm very happy to spend the time with y'all. I'm very happy to be back doing this. I'm not happy to be back watching the movies, but I think we all agree upon that. Which brings me to my suggestion. My counterpoint to Chris's suggestion. What if we drew straws, and whoever... and then when we get back... we have to guess who went through the hell of watching through the entire way
What
through.
I'm learning from this is there are 3 people at this table.
Mhm.
There is
This virtual Skype call.
the moderate, there is the sadist, and there is the masochist. And I'm not naming
Well, that's the name of the
names,
episode.
But
That's the name of the episode. The moderate... How did you word it? The moderate...
The sadist
sadist
and
and the masochist.
Yeah. Well, no. Here, can I one up your idea while adding?
I'm afraid because you were the one that brought this
Well, no,
to
no.
the table, so I'm
not
deeply
modifying
afraid.
it too much. Because the way you phrased it seems like you meant like the audience has to guess like who was the one that went through the hell or whatever.
No, we have to. We don't
no, that's
know.
the way I heard it. We have to figure out who watched.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
But
and the audience too.
You were saying, we have to draw straws. We need an impartial fourth person to do this for us.
It's true.
Friend of the show, Lawrence.
That's exactly
I
where
elect
I was going.
friend of the show, Lawrence.
No.
By the way, this is an idea.
Like wheel spinners that you can customize and then just.
I have on the fly 1,000% stolen this from, like this podcast and everything else from Till Death Do Us Part because they just decided one year that Justin McElroy wouldn't fucking watch the movie for some reason. We're not going to do that. We're going to decide who went through more hell.
Look, this whole podcast we've talked about is because of, like, various other podcasts.
I will continue to say the worst idea of all time is the thing that made this.
Well,
Go watch their series right now. They're doing Fast and Furious in a crazy way.
That's gotta be the ultimate, like, end goal of this show, right? Is to have a crossover episode.
They tangentially know we exist. That's about
a long time ago.
They liked
all far away.
We're not talking about Kevin Smith.
I would like to.
We talk about him too much.
If I had a nickel for every time I've been told I talk about Kevin Smith too much.
And I even here's something. I did listen technically to a Star Wars podcast while we were gone.
Yeah, that's
technically.
True. You did.
Technically. I listened to we haven't shouted them out yet, but I listened to Star Wars Skinny, which is a podcast that shouts us out every once in a while. They did an episode where they talk about other podcasts. They shout out podcasts on their Twitter. And I listened to their year-end episode, which one of the two that we were mentioned in. So shout out Star Wars Skinny. We're going to try to climb those ranks so we're in the top 10 next year.
Woo!
I don't know how we're going to do that. We're just going to try to do that.
Through the power of friendship.
I need to go over and listen and hear someone on the internet talk about us so I can get just a deep existential.
No, they just mentioned our name.
Spine.
Literally just mentioned.
No, it doesn't matter.
Our name.
That's enough.
But every time they shout us out, they put like a GIF that is somehow related to the episode we did, which is very funny to me. Like when we had the sponsor Hip Bone, they just sent a picture of a hip bone in the shout out. So
Cool.
I don't know how they listen to this though, because it's really interesting. They listen to so many podcasts. That's like their goal is well, the idea of the podcast is they get skinny and then they talk about Star Wars. So they work out and then they talk about Star Wars directly after. But they just shout out so many Star Wars podcasts and they listen to so many Star Wars podcasts. I don't know what it must be like to listen to all these Star Wars podcasts and then drop in on us. That must be a wild experience. Hey, I'm just going to say it. Hey, Star Wars Skinny, come on the show. You're invited to the show if you want to drop in.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show, Star Wars Skinny. Probably the person that has shouted us out the most.
Yeah. No, for real. I mean, open offer, obviously.
Yes.
Come on the podcast. And also, I apologize.
Do it, cowards.
Come on the podcast. You'll be our fourth podcast guest. Do it, cowards.
He said with love.
Tell me what watching
They
Star
said with
Wars and Star Wars content and then also maintaining a regular workout schedule is like. I would like to know your secrets.
Okay. So what are we doing about this? Are we just literally drawing straws impartially? Is that the plan? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
I almost feel bad because I know Ben's Christmas time is pretty crazy, but then again, you also have a child, Chris, and you were the first one to suggest this.
Look, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I realized in this time is, like, I have so little free time these days, but, like, watching a Star Wars movie a week is surprisingly doable and not a huge inconvenience.
Without having to edit the podcast, I cannot tell you how much free time that I had that I did not use very well.
How many hours of
I bought no Pokemon.
No
actually.
Pokemon.
Well, a little bit of Pokemon, but it's probably like only a couple hours because I had already beaten it before we made this decision. The new Pokemon that is a mess, but also the funnest Pokemon game in years. But I didn't play Legends Arceus, so that probably is better. I got a PS5 in November.
Oh, that's right.
I beat Last of Us before this thing ever happened. First time ever, fantastic game. I played a little bit of Star Wars, or not Star Wars. That's the podcast. I did have y'all talk me out of playing Lego Star Wars though in this amount of time.
I was gonna say you're the one who talked you into it.
But through talking me into it, you talked me out of it.
It's a fun game.
I played a little bit of Spider-Man PS4, which I had already beaten because it's the one PS4 game that I've played because I borrowed it from Ben. But I didn't use that console a whole lot. I started God of War in that time. Very good game. I haven't.
I played a little bit of Lego Star Wars the other morning by myself in my apartment.
Really?
Doing a Liam Neeson voice to myself alone in my apartment. Running around the opening.
Just as
of
the
Phantom
Lord
Menace.
intended.
Yeah. Just running.
Lego Star Wars, do you have the guts to put the piss stain in the...
I was literally just running around the opening of the Phantom Menace level in Lego Star Wars as, Qui-Gon throwing lightsabers to break shit to collect the little Lego pieces and just going, hurry up, Obi-Wan, I need to find a bathroom immediately. We're running out of time.
We had a peek behind the scenes. Chris had COVID, obviously, so I didn't get to spend much time even in our weekly D&D game with him. But I felt like the game that we just played last weekend, there were more Star Wars references in it because we didn't get it out of our system. And it was like a cyberpunk game. Yeah. So it had no place to be there. But
I mean, it fit more there than it would have any of our other games that we play, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Which, hey, by the way, we took some time off, and Wizards of the Coast has gone bananas in that time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't hear any of this until literally 5 minutes ago. I was listening to a video about it.
This is not a D&D show, but holy shit, Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro, get your shit together.
What did I miss?
Oh,
open
God.
Game license shit.
Oh, yeah, I knew about that.
Do we want to just say fuck Star
happening.
Wars and talk about the open game license for the next half hour?
Nope, we do not. Fuck Wizards of the Coast. I wasn't thinking about that, but yes, fuck Wizards of the Coast. No, I don't want to talk about that.
It's just... Yeah,
listen, I don't want to get... That's something I actually feel passionate about, and I don't want to be angry on this first episode back, which is why we're not talking about Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. No, I think it's very funny and very on theme to the show and the things we bitch about that a company that earned $1 billion from Dungeons and Dragons last year is going, we're not monetizing this enough.
We need more money for our money.
I know we just made $1 billion, but
yeah. We're more successful than we've literally ever been, but we need a little bit more of that money because other people play our game sometimes online.
Isn't this literally what happened with 3.5? The game was doing well, and they went
similar.
But what if?
No, the game was doing very badly. Actually, the game was doing very badly, and the change ended up doing well for them. But no, we're not talking about this. I want to spend time with y'all. I kind of want to know what this break was like. I want to hear what y'all were doing. Unfortunately, Chris had COVID.
I didn't do much. I tried not to die for a couple weeks.
I didn't do a lot. Just, survive.
Chris sent us a picture at one point saying, I'm still sick as shit, but the kid's over it, and then sent me a picture of his son giving the happiest smile that the most shit-eating grin I've ever seen from a toddler, sitting in a high chair.
Yeah. Yep. Because, hey, he had it for, a day and a half, 2 days maybe, and I know he had it first, the little motherfucker, alright, because he was, burning up, wouldn't sleep the one night, had a fever and everything, and God. We were like, uh-oh, and next day, totally fine, and then the day after that, I woke up and went, uh-oh.
You were like, I have the flu, and then later that day you were like, bad news, it's not the flu.
No, I said, I think exactly what I said was,
good news, not the flu.
Guys, it's not the flu. And then sent a picture of my fucking positive COVID test.
COVID test, yep.
Which, hey, by the way, I learned it says wait 15 minutes on those things. If you have COVID, you don't have to wait 15 minutes. It will tell you immediately.
Yeah, that's true.
If it doesn't
it'll tell you within 2.
Probably fine. No, I'm not. Like, I put
I
the little
almost-
droppers on, and it filled up, and as soon as it hit where the line for positive was, the positive line was there. It was like, no, you know right now, motherfucker.
You can wait 15 minutes, but I'm telling you right now. No, but like, I wanted to play all those games on the PS5. I ended up going back to Inquisition, and that's what I played the last 2 weeks. A game, listen, of the Dragon Age games, this is the only time that I have ever played that. This is the third time that I've done a full playthrough of it since it came out in 2014. And it's the first time that I've ever done anything different in it.
I think I'm
But I've played Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2 like a million times, so it almost is just like, yeah, I went back to that. What I was supposed to do is I wanted to play... I bought Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 on PS1 when I was buying stuff. I wanted to own the physical copies of those, and I was going to play them. So anyway, that's what my...
I bought it because I bought the newest Call of Duty because it was on sale. And I have a couple of buddies that play it, and I was like, maybe I'll play games with actual people. I haven't yet, because I don't associate with people. Even people I like. But I've been playing a little bit of that back and forth. I hopped into a multiplayer lobby, and I was like, this will be fun. It's like back to my middle school days or something. Jay just broke her headphones. Jay just literally snapped her headphones.
Continue.
Yeah,
Continue on without me
hopped,
for a second.
hopped into a multiplayer lobby and got called a slur by a 12-year-old.
Just like the good old days.
It is
Glad
like
to
the
see
good old
Call
days
of
of
Duty
middle
hasn't
school.
changed.
Yeah.
And so one of my favorite things is the internet collectively rediscovering proximity chat through Call of Duty.
Yeah. Hey, I would like to say now that Jay's not here, because she's going to get very mad at me if I say it while she's here, I've never finished a Dragon Age game.
Me neither.
I've never finished one.
Not
I've played
one.
all of them, never finished them.
Uh-huh.
Jay, you're
Hi,
back.
Jay.
Uh-huh. I
Uh-huh.
heard.
You didn't hear anything.
Uh-huh. It doesn't matter. I don't care what you play and not play. It's cool. You sons of bitches.
Hey, don't talk about my mother like that. She's in the show.
Yeah, it is technically...
It's canon.
It's canon. It's canon that I am your parent. So, yeah, so we took the time off, and then we took one more week. I'll put this out in the tweet, because thus far we have not sent the tweet that we're taking one more week off. We're not taking one more week off. We're literally this week, next week, and the week after, or this week and next week, we will not be releasing an episode. We were meant to release an episode on the 11th. We're putting it back a week. We're literally already recording episodes. We're back, but we're just putting it off so that we're continuing to be 6 weeks in the past.
Because, the 6 weeks, breaking news 6 weeks in the past bit is burned into our brains, so we can't change to 5 days.
It would be so confusing for me. In my head, the 6 weeks makes sense, because, like, if we're releasing episode 1, or if we're releasing episode 4, we're on episode 1. You know what I mean? Like, it always makes sense. 5 weeks in the past is chaos. I will never know what I'm supposed to be releasing. It's pure fucking chaos. Pure fucking chaos. I can't do it. So we're putting it off one more week, even though we're starting recordings again. So.
Well, anything else fun or interesting happened to y'all on our time off?
Well, something happened before we took a time off that I have to bring up.
Oh?
Ben.
Me.
My lovely friend.
Hi.
Who's Ponda Baba? Would you please explain to me who Ponda Baba is? He just left the Skype call. He just straight up left the Skype call. I love that you left the Skype call, but we record on Audacity individually, so anything you did in that time is still 100% available to me.
It's just gonna be Chuckles.
Can you explain to me who Ponda Baba is?
No, I
please?
can't, apparently.
I don't know why. And the best thing about this is that I don't know. It took 20 minutes, a half hour for me to leave the recording, go out to the living room,
Yeah.
talk to my wife for a couple of minutes, and then go, wait.
Yes, I'm sorry. I got Ponda Baba mixed up with Deepa Balaba.
Yes, as you do.
Deep and wide, deep and wide. Yeah, so Ponda Baba is the guy who I don't know their gender technically. They lose their arm to Obi-Wan Kenobi on Tatooine in the bar in A New Hope.
Yeah.
And then the other one you
The
said.
Aqualish
We know his
motherfucker.
gender. Doesn't his friend go, my friend, he doesn't like you, or whatever.
I also
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
I also don't know how much I'd trust a Florida Bamian with pronouns.
That's true.
It's a fair point.
That's very true.
Hey, that guy's a doctor.
The whole of Tatooine is probably...
He is a doctor.
The whole of Tatooine is deeply racist canonically, but also probably transphobic.
We don't talk enough about the fact that guy's a doctor.
Yeah.
We don't
talk enough about them in general.
We either don't talk enough or talk too much about them. It's one or the other, because we have brought them up many times, but it's always been for like 1 minute.
It's true.
So
About the same amount of time they're in that movie, so I mean,
if you missed it, Ben incorrectly identified Ponda Baba as a Jedi Master in a previous episode.
specifically Kanan Jarrus's Jedi Master.
Yes,
which is a very funny.
Better timeline.
It is a better timeline.
Young Kanan Jarrus pulling up to the Jedi Temple, like waiting for his master, and then he just hears, "Hey kid, my friend, he doesn't like you."
I don't like you either.
He's gonna train you, but he doesn't like you. I don't like you either. I don't like you either. You'll be careful. You'll be a Jedi Padawan. I have notes for Rise of Skywalker.
No.
Even though I watched it so long
Sorry.
ago. We don't have to
No.
talk about it because this is kind of a wrap-up episode on the first time we've taken a break in 2 years.
Look, we
2.5
watched
years.
audience. We watched Rise of Skywalker. Ben and I watched
Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker twice, technically. Do we need to talk
Yes.
about Rise of Skywalker? Do you want to hear us talk about Rise of Skywalker? How many more points on Rise
Don't
of Skywalker?
answer that. Don't answer that question.
Yeah, don't answer that. Leave your comments. Reading them.
Check the YouTube comments. Chris will not read them, but Ben and I definitely will.
No.
I want to bring up something in the podcast lore that's never been talked about.
Oh no.
You know the give up comment that we talk about all the time?
Yeah.
Somebody on like our third or
Our
fourth or
fuel?
fifth episode.
Yeah.
Ben replied to that, and we've never
I
mentioned
did?
it.
I don't remember.
Yes,
that.
you did.
he?
With just the words, "I wish." We've never brought it up. Every once in a while, I'll go back and be reminded of it over something. But
You'll go back. Do you check on it every once in a while, Jay?
no, I don't remember what. I think what it is I have a screenshot in my important folder in SWEWF that I think is the unedited version of the give up image, and I just see that every once in a while.
You know, every week that gets slightly more true. Like just an inkling.
Do we want to? Hey, can we?
Man,
Can you send messages on YouTube, like between YouTube accounts? Is there like a messenger aspect?
think so.
To YouTube?
I don't think so.
Let's say, can
I don't think
we
so, no.
message that person who left that comment and just be like, "Hey, you want to come on the podcast?"
No, I don't want to do that because they are a total, like... I gotta have some level of trust before I invite someone on the show, and I have no fucking
Just
clue
because
who that
we
person
invite
is.
somebody on a show doesn't mean we have to release it if it goes to shit. But also, that could be really fucking funny.
Oh, man. It could, but we're not going to. Because that would require us to find this person.
How does it feel
And we won't.
to have left this comment and then 2.5 years later you're the reason that we're still doing this stupid show?
They probably are entirely unaware, considering the fact that our YouTube copies get like 14 views on average. I don't think they're aware. So again, thank you, Star Wars Skinny, for so constantly shouting us out, and thank you everyone that has remained loyal to us for some fucking reason. We got a sweet Anja Maxed Out joined our Discord, and I feel bad because nothing is ever said in the Discord except when we release an episode, and we took a break the week after Anja Maxed Out joined the Discord. We get friend of the show Lawrence, and another individual who I don't know if we're allowed to name them on the show, so I will not. But another individual put memes in there every once in a while.
We really should start doing, like, I don't know, something in the Discord, like, organize, like, hangouts or something, I don't know.
I think it would be fun if we just do an unedited, like, we could always, like, why haven't we done, like, an all-together, like, purely on Discord watch?
Oh my god.
I mean, we could.
It's never even been brought up. Like, hey, if you're around, come watch it with us. We jump in the Discord. We don't record it, but that's just like a watch. We can do it together.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Why haven't we done that? We should do that.
It's another one in the bank. Another rotation
Also,
in the bank.
We also have to do more Twitch streams.
We do.
There was a very confusing thing that happened when you two were streaming that one night, where I was, like, in the chat, and I was basically playing, like, producer, where I was making sure sound levels were okay.
That's how Twitch streams work. That's just generally how Twitch streams work in my experience.
I was basically just playing moderator. There was a
yes, our first Twitch stream was Halo.
There was a very funny fucking thing I noticed where, like, we at one point had, like, 8 people watching, and, like, 3 of them were people with, like, 100,000 or more subscribers on Twitch.
Oh my god.
What?
I was like, what is happening?
What the fuck?
Nobody said a word?
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. The only person in the chat was you, pretty much.
There was at one point, like, we kept fluctuating between 3 people watching, 4 people watching. We got up to, like, 8 or 9 people watching at one point. But, like, there was, like, 20 minutes or so where we were consistent at, like, 6 or 7 or 8. Like, it kept fluctuating between the 3 of those. And in that time, there were a few people with, like, 100,000 plus subscribers. I don't know how Twitch works. I don't know if there's, like, botted accounts or whatever the hell. Like, I don't fucking know how Twitch works, but...
I mean, if you click on the account and it doesn't have a fancy layout, it's probably some kind of bot account. But 100,000, that seems...
Or us.
Listen, I said people that with that much.
But no, we gotta do more Twitch streams. Me and Ben both own that Hellish Court game now. We can do some duels in there. We can play some Battlefront. We can do Fire Pro, and Ben can be our color commentator who has no idea about wrestling.
I have
Fire Pro. Okay.
I have an idea. I have Fire Pro ideas. I do have Fire Pro ideas.
Is that a wrestling game or?
It's the best wrestling game.
But it is. It has so many things that'll work.
Yes.
Oh no.
Thank you to New Legacy Inc., who we have shouted out on the show before, for showing me just how great that could be with us. Maybe one day. We keep saying it. So
new friends of the show, New Legacy Inc., come on the show. Johnny, I know you got a wrestling promotion you're running, and also a podcast now, and your Twitch streams. But come on the show. With your free time.
You can make us in Fire Pro, and we can challenge for the Multiversal Championship. That's how this is gonna work. That's the 2023. Hey, we didn't mention it, but this is our first 2023 recording.
Woo!
That's right. Hey, I already downloaded
Happy
Palpatine.
birthday!
That's all right.
Yeah.
I got plans.
It's time for Palpatine. It's time for Palpatine to go through the wrestling ritual that makes you a wrestler, and he has to wrestle a bear.
Yeah.
It's
He's
time.
to wrestle a bear?
I'm gonna I'm gonna get a Vader, and his finisher is gonna be the Burning Hammer.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's obvious.
That's great. We're gonna have the SWEWF title on the line in a Star Wars tournament. It'll be great. Tune in for whatever this Twitch stream is.
That sounds like the least prestigious title humanly possible.
That's the catch.
That's the title.
That's the catch. It's going to be the most prestigious.
Yeah.
If you win the title, you have to watch Star Wars.
It's at least as prestigious as the 24/7 title, right?
So another subject, the title that no longer exists. So, well, for now.
I almost wish, for as much as we've been praising our time off, I almost wish we didn't. Because I love most of my family. most of my...
Do you want to say this live on the internet?
For like the 3 people here. Hey, guys, y'all, everyone, and gals, and everyone.
Guys, gals, they, them,
I just
pals.
called my mom a bitch like 15 minutes ago. What do you mean?
Yeah, but you care way less.
I love most of my family, but I need a goddamn break. And talking to you motherfuckers is my goddamn break.
That's really touching, but also a little bit sad.
Really aggressive and sweet, Ben.
Cause like, I've been having non-stop family interactions since Thanksgiving, and I need people to talk to other than my family.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I do feel you on that. I have had a similar experience, but it's mostly only because I live with family. So I have definitely missed these shows to interact with the world at large. Except the only thing that I did was, I mean, obviously I was high for Thanksgiving. That's well documented on the show now.
Well documented.
Same. It may be surprising to some people, but same.
Whoa.
Whoa.
How high were you during COVID? How much did you smoke during COVID? Not at all? A little bit?
Really,
Did it help at all?
Here's what happened with COVID.
Here's what happened.
I couldn't like vape or anything throughout COVID because like, you know, I was sick and it sucked. So I lived off of edibles, and I lived off of edibles, which is the way to go. It reminded me of I rekindled my love of edibles over COVID is what happened, and it's how I survived COVID. You get some just a nice 1-to-1 blend of a THC CBD gummy, just a nice carried me through. It's how I it's how I survived COVID. Y'all motherfuckers are out here eating horse paste or whatever. I got my edible through.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a weird time. Weird time of my life. The first time I stopped watching Star Wars for 2.
Yeah, 2.5. We started recording technically in June 2020, but the process started at the end of July 2020.
I remember.
It is now January 2023, the 3rd calendar year.
I brought it up like a rotation ago or something, like, you know, a few episodes back, that I have a coworker who started watching or like listening to the show, and
did they quit yet?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Apparently he really loves listening while playing Minecraft, so, you know, there's that. You know, hi buddy, you'll hear this in months when you catch up, because he started chronologically, the fucking lunatic.
Do you know where he is?
I don't know.
When does he get to the part where you start smoking and then 2 rotations later we phone it in?
Yeah.
When does that happen?
I don't know. But I said,
we don't phone it
I said
in.
something offhand the one day, like, yeah, no, this is a very stupid show we do. And he was like, oh, I love it. I was like, we've been doing it like 2.5 years now, and like his eyes just kind of got wide a little, and I was like, yeah, we've been doing this for 2.5 years.
It's a very long time. The first episode went up end of August 2020.
I was like, you know, this is why, you know, it looks like I die inside a little anytime someone brings up Star Wars to me. He was like, I understand. I was like, yeah.
I understand the pain now.
God, that's
man.
I was at the Warhammer store today because I'm a fucking dork, and the one guy was helping me out, the guy running the store, and he was showing me some minis he painted. He was like, yeah, I'm a bit of a Star Wars fan, and I could feel myself getting the 1,000-yard stare and just going, yeah, me too, man. I literally said, yeah, me too, man.
Remember how I said I live with family? I have to be very quiet about this. I was gifted a Baby Yoda mug
My favorite.
for Christmas.
Last year I got 2
I-
Baby Yoda mugs.
The only people in my life, other than Ben and his roommate, that know I do a Star Wars podcast is the people in my house because, I want to tell them so that they know when I'm doing things. I think they think it means I love Star Wars. I don't think that's the case anymore. So it's a very sweet gift that came from the heart.
You
that
love Star Wars. Stop it.
I don't. I really don't, actually.
Come on.
I
Stockholm
deeply
Syndrome
don't.
has to have set in by now.
I almost wore a Star Trek shirt to this recording, but
The Rebel.
I had already put on I don't. I watched. Oh, that's another thing I do with my time off. I finished Next Generation and started continued Deep Space Nine.
Woo.
And I thought at times about how fun it would be to watch just start a podcast instead where we watch one Star Trek episode individually because Chris has never seen them. Chris, I have a question.
So,
Are you in your suit jacket? And I haven't noticed
Yeah,
till
he
now.
is.
it's cold in my office, and it was still on the back of my chair.
Yeah,
All right.
Ben, we got the bet right.
You leave me alone.
It just sunk in.
Oh no.
It's a little cold in here. I might have spent a little bit of the last D&D session in my suit coat as well. All right. Ben lost a very small plastic piece right now and is.
I lost one of my orc heads, alright? I lost the heads for one of my boys.
Can't abandon your boy.
Can't abandon your boy.
Did you abandon your boy? Say it. Yell it.
I've abandoned my boy!
My boy is whole.
Why? I don't know why that gave me the creeps. That sentence.
He's gonna be a dapper young man, and his name is gonna be Reginald.
Oh, that was the name of my robot vacuum cleaner I had for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Reginald.
It died?
No, I got rid of
died?
it. Fuck that vacuum. It sucked.
You got.
All that
I
shit
miss
just
you,
bounced
Reginald,
off
you piece of
every
shit.
Surface in my fucking house. Didn't clean shit. It just went around, bumped into my shit, and pissed my cats off. That's all that thing did.
So I have a question.
Oh no.
And it is not. It's something that I just thought. If for some reason this break made us decide to end the show, which it is not, we will do this forever because somebody said give up on our 5th episode. I'm not kidding. That keeps me going so much. How would you feel if we had just stopped because of that? Because things were crazy, and the idea of doing the show was stressful, and nobody had fucking time, and Chris was sick. There is a certain amount of catch-up that we have to do, which is why we put the podcast back a week for the return. If we stopped, theoretically, how would you feel? We're not doing it, but I'm
I
interested
would feel
in the thought.
unaccomplished because we gave up. And I still have much fight left in my heart.
I was gonna say, Chris, you started that like a kid in class who knew what the right answer was, but they weren't happy about it.
Yeah.
Like just your cadence was great.
It's just interesting because we never have a chance to breathe. And we had a chance to breathe.
I sure didn't for a
and it
couple
occurred
weeks,
to me-
you're right. That shit's no joke.
We're constantly putting out episodes. And we had a second where we weren't doing that. And I'm just interested because the only time we're ever going to ever have this chance is when we take that 3-week break. If for some reason something happened and the show ended, how would we feel if we take out the promise to the internet? Like, is this something we're proud of?
No.
Because in a way, I'm proud.
Absolutely.
In a way, really.
I can put on my job resume.
I don't think that's how
That
this works.
for 2 years
look.
straight.
You know what I'm proud of? I'm proud that I've probably successfully talked for 2.5 years my way out of ever potentially being able to work for the Disney Corporation.
It's very weird to say, but this is probably the project in my life that I have stuck with the most. I feel like sometimes it sounds like complaining, and it's not. except when I specifically am complaining as a joke. Here's the secret about the podcast. There are times where we definitely overblow things for the sake of the podcast as a joke, because it's funny to me or it's funny to us. This is us on 12.
Yeah.
If you take us back to 8, we're still harassing each other, but I do a lot of work for this show on my end to keep it going, to keep it out. I take, it might not seem it all the time, but I take seriously the editing process. And in a way, I am really proud of this show because I stuck with it, and I still try to improve, and I still try to put effort into things, and I feel like I improve with certain things, and for some reason I put in effort to the YouTube copy all the time when nobody watches them.
Look,
Consistently, nobody watches the YouTube copy.
Look, I'll say, like, and I say no mostly jokingly, but like, we say all the time, yeah, this is a very stupid show, but like you said, this is a project that we have stuck to for a very long time, and yeah, this is a very silly show. This is a very, very silly podcast, but like, I think we're funny most of the time, even if it's just us.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
I'm really proud of us for sticking with something, even if it's something that probably we shouldn't have stuck with. I'll never forget, we were like 6 episodes in and we almost stopped. And we were talking about other podcasts we could have done. And I'm telling you, if we had stopped and done another podcast, I don't think we would have stuck through it.
Nah.
The forever promise combined with the spite, and do not make a mistake. I wish you well, whoever... I actually am so thankful for whoever said that. Like, I'm so thankful.
Hey, look,
I'm just kind of proud.
I don't think anyone being an asshole has ever had such a positive effect on 3 people.
Yeah. Negative effect as well, because I have to watch Star Wars every week. But
it's a net positive.
I think it'll help because again, I didn't watch Rise of Skywalker this week. I watched it the week I was supposed to. I think it'll help. The break will help me pay attention to the movie a little more.
And
so that's a positive.
The funny thing is too, like talking about, we consider doing other podcasts. We're way more likely, weirdly enough, to do other podcasts now while we're doing this one than, like you said, we would have been if we stopped doing this.
I don't know, on the technical side, adding one to this is a lot.
Well, yeah,
so
not if
I
it's
don't
every
know.
week, obviously. That would be far too much.
Hey, if we ever make some money off this show, I'll do 10 podcasts. I don't give a fuck. I can hire people to... take care of some
but
of this
only
shit.
For the
do
boring
this show
stuff.
while I do the fun shows. Only for the boring stuff.
This.
Or... Man, I'm so sorry. If we ever get big enough to have employees, I'm so sorry. Your job's going to be so boring at first.
Your job's going to be so weird. What are you talking about? Not even just boring, just weird.
Yeah.
It's pretty standard editing work, but Jesus fuck, is it going to be weird.
But then again, we're a bunch of weird guys and gals. Like,
gals, non-binary pals is what makes up our audience. It's just a bunch of weird people, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. All of us are very strange. I don't know Anshmax out very well, so I don't know on that front. I don't know Star Wars Skinny. I don't know. I hope Star Wars Skinny has fun listening to the show.
God damn it! Star Wars every week, forever uploaded again. Shit.
I know. There's one other person that listens. I don't know if we're allowed to say her name on the show. I don't know if they're weird, but the people I know that listen to the show are as weird as us.
Mr. Mishap's okay.
Is he not weird?
No, that was comment bait. Even though I know he's not listening on YouTube anymore. No, we like Mr. Mishap.
We love Mr. Mishap. Mr. Mishap was like, and we love friend of the show. I don't know if we've ever mentioned friend of the show. Supposed to be a part of the podcast in a way. Where,
I think we mentioned him like first rotation.
Was supposed to come on the podcast at one point, and just like
realized what we actually wanted him to do, and was like no.
And then did.
Wasn't the bit with is that anytime because of dropping out of that role, anytime he gets named on the podcast, his name is out.
Yes. That was the bit originally. We weren't going to mention his name, and I'll probably still...
I was about to say, we did that a while back. We just haven't brought him up in a while, but yeah, that was his name out every time.
Yeah,
His friend of the show.
Originally we were going to have come on, and we're only it out because it's funny now.
Oh yeah, it's 100% just
friend
for
of
a bit,
ours.
you know.
Friend of mine and Ben's, who I hope is doing well.
He's doing all right.
He was going to come on, and he's never watched any of the movies. He was just gonna talk about what he thought the show was based on him listening to this podcast. And we had a misunderstanding on what that role meant, so that didn't end up happening. But he also just comments first on pretty much most of our videos. Not all the time, but every once in a while. So he's still here in spirit. Even though he only listens to the intros, probably.
Like honorary fourth member of the podcast.
Still here, ruining...
No, I think he lost that. I think he lost that role.
Ruining our audience retention numbers.
I feel like if we have an honorary fourth member of the podcast, it's Lawrence.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I don't know what would make me say that. But I think it's Lawrence for sure.
I mean, yeah, he was only on the one episode. What do you mean?
It was only on the one episode for sure.
I like that we returned in true form of just not talking about the movie at all.
Absolutely.
Oh, I planned to not. I made a plan to not talk about the movie because I felt like, we do a Forever podcast. I felt like it was more. Part of it is the movie, and I'm the one that pushes to talk about the movie more. But the Forever aspect is more important than the movie aspect, and I felt like a good amount of time had to be devoted to the fact that we didn't watch the movie for a little bit.
We had to catch up.
We had to talk about what that experience was like. I'm looking forward to next year if Chris doesn't pull the 1 in 3 chance that Chris actually gets 3 weeks off, not 2 weeks of COVID and 1 week off.
Yeah. That would be nice. That's a year. That's a holiday tradition I would like to leave in 2022.
It's also worth mentioning that we're going. It's also worth mentioning that we might only have 2 weeks off depending on when we do the holiday special recording.
Yeah,
that's always
a well-used meme. If I had a nickel for every time I had COVID during the holiday season, I would have 2 nickels. And that's not a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
It's weird that it happened twice.
I'm a hipster. I had it before anyone even knew it was a thing.
Hipster.
I had it. I'm pretty sure.
Cool.
I've talked about this before. I'm pretty sure Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker gave me COVID the first time.
So this movie has just not been good to you in general.
No. This movie is the ghost of COVID past, is what this movie is.
I wish we could name this
the ghost of
That's
COVID
incredible.
past.
That's a good
great
Hey,
name.
did you hear that? Did you hear that YouTube has a new rule where they brought the ad thing down so that you can't curse in the first 15 seconds, but if your episode has like 10% that's cursing, you don't get advertising?
God.
That's the new rule. Yeah.
Oh man, so we are just fucked forever. We're gonna have to lean on those alternative advertisers we've been dealing with lately, which is fine.
We don't have one this week, as far as I know. We don't have
one this week. We had it's hard to sometimes
coming
it's hard
back
to
from the
shore
break
up
and everything.
advertisers first couple of weeks of the year. It's hard.
I'm still waiting for the not Death Note Shinigami to send me that. They promised that they would send me a large sum of money through email if I mentioned it, but I had to send them money first. So I sent them the money, and then we advertised, and we never heard back. So I'm sure our money is on the way from the not Death Note Shinigami.
I don't know what happened to the Jedi Yulog repository money. It got seized.
Well, that would be because
it got seized.
It got seized because we called the cops on Papa Palps, is what happened.
Nah, we do not call the cops on this podcast.
Well, I mean, we don't call the cops on somebody that hasn't committed multiple genocides.
I think that might be a little out of their jurisdiction, if I'm being honest.
Oh boy.
I think
This podcast.
like
The episode where the gang calls the UN on,
like they
Palpatine.
like they can't do basic fucking traffic violations right most of the time. I don't think genocide is their jurisdiction. Oh.
No, but murder of Jedi is. Listen, if you don't know what's going on right now, go listen to Holiday Special episode. This podcast is so fucking stupid, and I love you both so much.
We sound like genuine crazy people if you're just dipping into an episode at any given time.
Yeah, we are too referential for a podcast that has been happening for 2.5 years. Yeah. We're too referential, and we're not going to stop.
A podcast with an audience of 30 subscribers on YouTube.
Oh my god.
36! We got a new
Holy
one over
shit.
the break for some reason. Yeah. 2023 goal is to get 38.
I was going to say 37, but geez. We're shooting for the stars now.
I'm dreaming big. Well, we got 6,666 downloads on Podbean in 2022, and that was fantastic. And then we got 6699, and 6969, which was nice. I didn't get to take screenshots of either of those, but so I feel like we've accomplished everything we need to accomplish.
That's it.
We got
That's
to
it.
all the funny
Pack it up.
numbers. We hit all the funny numbers, so.
Hey, can we,
Anyway.
Another thing we missed during the break, just, continuing the theme of this show, can I use the Star Wars Every Week Forever business Twitter account to tweet the Elon Musk alien edit that you made at Elon Musk every day until he suspends our account?
Please do. I actually, it's funny. I have been meaning to ask permission to just do that at least once, several times. When he officially took over, I tweeted it. Just didn't tweet it at him. You have my permission. It's gonna be a problem because Twitter is the only. We have Reddit. We have the Discord, but we don't communicate well through there. Twitter is really our full communication with our fan base, but it'll also be deeply funny. So go ahead, please send Rakatan Musk to Elon
I'll
Musk.
just keep tweeting at him.
Just-
Fight me in space, Elon.
No, don't do that. Don't do that because that's a threat. Just tweet him the picture, and make sure you don't put a period
It's not
or
a
anything
threat,
before
it's
the
a
at, so it
request.
doesn't end up on the main thread.
It's not a threat, it's a request.
I give you permission if you at him at the beginning of every single one so that it doesn't end up on the main timeline. You have to go to tweets with replies on the thing for it so that we can actually advertise this fucking show. I would like to have 38 subscribers. That's my goal, so let's do that.
I agree with Ben. My goal... No, you know what? I'm going to play it safe. My goal is 36. That way, if we lose and gain...
It does happen. There's nothing more heartbreaking than looking at something. We had 35 go down to 34 at one point, and I was just like, that's heartbreaking.
Because it's very funny that someone listened to this show and went, yeah, I'll subscribe to this, and then something in them went, no, I'm leaving.
I choose to believe they subscribed, and then a month later, they're scrolling through YouTube like, who is this? Why am I subscribed to this?
A month and 4 episodes later went, oh, it's just okay.
They're still doing this?
I feel like we've all had YouTube long enough that if we go into the subscribed, we're subscribed to so many things that we didn't know we were subscribed to.
I was going through my subscribe the other day, and there was just a dude talking to a tiger in a New Zealand accent in his backyard, and I was like, who the fuck are you? When did I subscribe to this?
I'm subscribed to a bunch of channels that no longer exist because they would put up wrestling matches from other countries and they got taken down. So every once in a while I'll look at the thing and it's just like, oh, that doesn't exist anymore. Oh, that doesn't exist anymore. I'll get to the B's of unsubscribing and I'm like, it's fine. I'm good. I don't need to. And that's our cue.
You know,
this
guys,
has been Star Wars everywhere.
I'm looking at Wikipedia, And it's looking
Oh.
pretty weird.
Oh my god, we do have to do Weird Wikipedia. You're right. We do. I forgot how to do this show in the time that we had.
Wow.
Ben, take us home with
How
Weird Wikipedia.
how did we end up in the timeline where I'm the put together one?
This is the second time too. You did it on Revenge of Sith during this rotation too, where we totally forgot and you saved us.
Oh boy, today on fucking this shit. Weird Wikipedia. We got
I'm not redoing the Weird Wikipedia logo as fucking this shit. We will, if we ever get monetized, this episode will not be monetized.
today on Weird Wikipedia. We got Gamma 383.
That's just a Star Trek station name.
It's assigned to follow the orders of the commanding officer in preparation for life as a member of the Commando Squad, nicknamed Trench. Is this another fucking...
This is another tabletop game
Tabletop,
thing.
yep.
Yes, it is.
The Clone Wars campaign
Clone Wars
guide.
campaign guide.
You got it.
Yeah. How do we? Well, you know what? We keep saying, how do we keep coming back to these? No, like mathematically, it makes total sense because there's going to be a million NPCs that,
Yep.
a billion NPCs
Yeah.
in these things that. Wow.
Well, the weird Wikipedia gods have smiled upon us tonight by giving us a short one for our return. And another tabletop one.
Oh God. Yeah. I mean, my favorite thing is like. Either Chris and I will recognize it before. Ben got it this time, but I was getting ready to say it anyway. We'll recognize it and take the guess and find out, yeah, we were right about that. But this one was easy because it literally said campaign guide there. Well, this has been Star Wars Every Week Forever. We love you all. We missed you all. We missed doing this show. And we're so happy to be back. Thank you for waiting through a couple weeks without our content. I'm sure it was as good for you as it was for us, except for Chris, who had COVID.
Yeah.
I hope that you are still with us, and we love you all for even listening to one episode. Thank you for sticking with us. And us being off for a few weeks is not the end, it's just the beginning.
Unfortunately.
In terms of our lifespan, it's just the beginning. Hopefully. This has been Star Wars Every Week Forever. We love you all so much. Good night. Now, here's the question.
Here's the
Do we
answer.
have new outros in the amount of time that we have?
I'm gonna say yes, but probably
Oh,
not.
fuck, I knew I forgot something.
Hey, if you enjoyed us, thought we were funny, like our content, or just really love our suffering and want to hear more of it, we're available all over the place and release episodes every Wednesday around 12 Eastern Standard Time. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Player FM, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and in a unique format over on YouTube that our fans seem to dig. You can join in on the conversation over on Twitter as well, at SWEWF. We're quite active and love to hear from our fans. Sincerely, though, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend with us on this car crash of a ride.